Hi, Irina.
Hi.
Okay, so Irina, today we are going to start Yoga Alliance Ethical Commitments. The topic would be Yoga Alliance Ethical Commitment. And there is one more topic after that is ethical commitments. The both are similar, kind of, they are both are similar only. Some of the points will be there, will be like that will be not in this chapter, that we need to cover it from the next chapter. But the motto of both the chapters would be the same. Okay, so let's start. Have you opened it?
Yes. I've
Take your
got 1 second.
Yoga Alliance Ethical Commitment. That is the topic.
Yeah, I've got ethical commitment, and the next topic is yoga professionals
No, that
guidelines.
is different. That we need to cover after this. There is a topic in yoga ethics. Come to your index. There is a topic here, yoga YH3. In yoga ethics, the second chapter is topic Yoga Alliance Ethical Commitment.
YH3. Yeah. Okay.
Huh?
Yeah.
So that
So
cover
we
first.
do. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Then we'll go to yoga ethical commitments because both are kind of similar. Both
Okay.
chapters. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So
So
yoga ethics first. Yeah.
yoga ethical commitment. Start with the first topic.
Okay.
Open that topic first, and then we'll go to ethical commitment. So whatever topic would be left here, that will cover in that chapter. Start from first.
Yeah.
Okay, Jwala is here. So connect her, and then we'll start together. Hi, Jwala.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Okay. So basically here Yoga Alliance ethical commitment, that means here first thing, what is the meaning of ethical commitments? Okay. That is something, as a being a yoga teacher, you should be committed towards your goal, towards your profession, and also towards your words. So if something commitment doesn't mean only that you are committed, you have to be committed towards your business. No, you should always be committed towards your students, your clients, your work, each and everything, all the parameters you need to cover, and you have to be commitment towards them. Here it is given the ethical commitments are necessary for every qualified yoga teacher. So if anyone is qualified yoga teacher, or some, it doesn't matter from where they got the certificate, from where they are qualified, but the point is the basic thing which every yoga teacher should have is the ethical commitments, which is very necessary for everyone. Because of that only you can make a trust between you and your students or in your clients. If there will be no ethical commitments, if there will be no ethical professional behavior in yours, you can't deliver such commitment things towards your student, through which your student shows trust in you, okay, and your business and your yoga. So now here it is given, there are basically three if here we are talking about yoga alliance, according to yoga alliance, what are the ethical commitment one qualified yoga teacher should follow? Okay, so 3 points majorly they have given is: first one is code of conduct, second is scope of practice, and third one is responsibility of equity in yoga. So what is code of conduct basically? Arina, just read out quickly what is code of conduct.
We are committed to holding high ethical standards for yoga teachers. We believe that it is the responsibility of a teacher to ensure a safe environment in which our students can grow physically, mentally, and spiritually. Students are looking for guidance from teacher with authenticity, experience, and wisdom. Our code of conduct was developed to protect our students in this potentially vulnerable relationship with their teachers and to uphold the highest
Yeah,
professional
what does it
standards.
mean? Basically, it means you must at the top. What they're trying to say is the basically the commitment between you and your student should be in equal manner. It should be in proper manner. Your student should always feel safe in your class or in your studio, because if he or she is secure in your class, mentally secure, physically secure, and at every standard they feel secure, that means your code of conduct which you have set up for your business or for the ethical things which you have standard this ethical standard things which you are just setting up for your studio, that is going in a proper way. But if someone is seen, it is not necessary that one should always feel secure, just physically secure, mentally also it should be like, if they are trusting to you towards yourself, towards your studio, if they are trusting on your words, that means the code of it includes code of conduct. That means the commitment which you have given to your students and clients, that is that you are following properly. Okay. And the safe environment, of course, always you need to create a safe environment. What does it include? Safe environment means There should be a proper hygiene. There should be a proper usage of, for example, the staffs you have hired for your studio, the what how they are behaving, how they are treating towards your students and your clients. That is also very important. And one yoga teacher should take care of these things as well. It's not like what you have only you have to deliver or behave, but also if someone is working with you, okay, if you like the teachers you have hired or maybe the staffs which you have hired for your studio, how they are the same way you are representing your studio, your business, you are delivering the yoga ethical things, in the same way they have to do that as well, because of course they are representing you only, okay, end of you. So that too, if code of conduct includes all of such things which you can deliver, which you can create, and you can just deliver to your students and client to build the trust and to make a safe environment. Now, what is financial practices that should be, teachers should always, it includes that teacher should, for example, if you guys are coming to my studio, the first thing we'll be discussing that what are your requirements, why you are here, right? That too, if you are for certification for your normal practice, or you are having some kind of disease or something, you are just, it's regular practice. So what are the requirements first we need to discuss after the introduction. Then okay, you are like you have decided you are here for your certification, 200 or 500 whatever. So the teacher should always straightforward towards their fees, okay. It's like if I have a fees of like 50K or lakh rupees or any amount, I should deliver it each and every student in the proper and in clear manner. It should not be like, okay, fine, okay, I'll give a discount, maybe, let's see, we'll discuss it after later. No, that point of time, if one is sure to do this course or they have to take admission there, teacher should always, like always, they should deliver the things in a straightforward and in fair manner. It should not be like to one student they are giving other amount, to the other they are giving other amount. That should not be there. As a business professional, as a yoga teacher, and this is also the major point where you can gain the trust, where you build the trust towards your students and client. Because somehow, if you are only not, you are not taking your decision that what amount you need to tell to your students or what are the fee structure you have to decide for your business, then how come your students will also trust? Like for example, if I'm here, I'm telling something to Arena, I'm telling something with each other. So what is the point there to make? You have, if you are only not committed towards your business, if you are giving a false statements in front of your students and clients, that is not right. Okay. So financial practices should be, here teachers will be honest, straightforward, fair, and in conducting all of their business affairs, teacher will manage their business affairs according to the recognized standards. Accounting practice teachers will discuss all fees and financial arrangements straightforward professional manner. That means there should be nothing personal will be involved there. Everything will be very sorted and should be very straightforward towards your students and clients. Okay. If we are talking about financial things. Now, professional growth and continuing education, which means like the same way, if you are like you the commitments which you are giving towards your business, towards your students and clients, that is going, you are just working around it very properly. You are running it in with very like with very worth of it. If you are making the worth of it, like how, like if this words you have given, the commitments which you have given to your clients and students, that you are fulfilling it in the terms of like yoga also, in the theory class also, or whatever things which different ideas you have innovated in towards your yoga studio. You have not, it is not like you have just given the commitment, okay, once you will take the admission, we'll try this new, you will experience such things in our studio, and you are not making it like happen. So that is also not correct. Whatever promises you are giving to your students and client, whatever like motivation you are giving to them, that is your responsibility to fulfill that. That is the reason only the professional growth can happen. Because how will you feel the growth into your business? How? It is just to when you will make your goodwill better, best. Because if there is no, how one can make their goodwill, how you can make it by running your business with good ethical things. If you have your own commitments and you know how to stand on your words, that is one yoga teacher should always do that. If you can't do it, don't commit to anyone. But if you can, just if you have given your words to your students and clients, do that. Okay, at any cost you have to do it. Because see, why students are there, why they are investing so much money in you, because they need something different, they want to learn something. When they leave your yoga class or studio, they want to see changes in themselves. But if you are not making that, they can't see it, why they'll suggest such studios, such, why they will refer to anyone else. So to make your professional growth, you can make your professional growth in such ways as well. If one is going from studio, they'll send other as well, right? So these are the things. This is also a business strategy which one should have in their mind, and that too they can fulfill because of their behavior and their standards, what they're setting up for their studio. Okay. Now, teacher student relationship, that is very important. For example, if I'm here only, I'm sitting and I cannot connect with you guys. What is the use of sitting here, right? It's nothing like I have to just, I'm coming here, I'm just delivering my messages, I'm teaching you and I'm going there. No, it will 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, only such 3 or 4 days you can feel comfortable, or maybe you can adjust. After that, if you are not connecting with me, I'm not connecting with you guys, there's no use of teaching there, right? Because it's not like I have to, I'm machine, you guys are machine, I'll come, I'll read and I'll go. No, the relationship between you and me or any students or teacher is equally very important, because then only, it's nothing like 1 day task. If someone is teaching, if someone is there to learn, it's not that they are coming for only 1 day, they spend their at least hour there, and every single day they are spending that hour. So ultimately, they build a relationship anyone with anyone. But that would depends which kind of relationship you are building with your teacher. It should not be personal as well. It should not be highly professional as well. It should be like, okay, you are comfortable, your teacher is comfortable to communicate, or while teaching, if you are comfortable to question me, that should also be there. Because if you are not comfortable to raise question in front of me, then also it's not good, right? Because that is the same thing, I'm wasting my energy, you guys are wasting your time there. So that too you need to keep in your mind, how to build a relationship and healthy relationship between students and you, so that each and everything goes in the flow as well. Okay. Now the next one is integrity. What is does it mean? Integrity means, any idea, Jwala, Arena, what is the single meaning of integrity? That too we can relate with this ethical commitments. See, integrity means, we can tell it's truthfulness. Okay. So integrity is something low. People use this such words in their personal life and have some integrity, right? Have some, show some integrity to others. So this is the same thing which you have to keep in your mind and into your behavior. You have to implement it while running any business, or while you are a teacher anywhere, or you are teaching anything to anyone. Not only yoga teacher, if you are any kind of teacher, any subject teacher or any teacher, if you are a guider, if you are guiding to someone, you should have an integrity in yourself. Because if you are not, you don't have, or you are not carrying any kind of truthfulness into yourself, how come you will teach to others? No, it will clearly, you people can, it is visible on your face that you are giving the false commitment, or you are just motivating them with no reason. Okay. So integrity means that you need to one yoga teacher should have integrity in their self before teaching to their students or to their clients. They should be committed towards their words. There should be things in their intention should be clear and should be proper as well. Okay. Let's read this integrity topic as well, so that if any topic is left, we'll cover that. Teachers shall upload the highest moral standards. The same thing, the moral standards, the things, the whatever commitment they are setting up for their students and for their client, that should be in the proper manner. There should be no wrong words should be there. There should be no false motivation in that. Okay. Teachers shall strive and ensure their intentions, action, speech based on honesty, compassion, selfishness, trustworthiness, and transparency. There should be a transparency, there should be a honesty and compassion into their words. Because if I'm not transparent with you guys, you will also not you will also think that the same thing, that if she is not transparent, if my teacher is only not transparent, I'm every day, every single day, I'm just giving you false commitments. Every single day, I'm just giving you false motivation. The day will come, you will realize it, because it will not work, right? If I'm giving you what, but second day I'm not doing that, how come you will trust me? 1 day, 2 days, after that you will come to know that these are the false commitments I'm getting it from my teacher or from my guru. So it's better, leave it. You will lose the interest from my class or from my studio. So never do that. Always show the honesty, and always be compatible with your students. Okay. And be flexible. Flexible, that means that much which is required, not so much flexible. If someone is saying, ma'am, I can't do, sir, I can't do 10 days classes and I need that class after that, no. There should be a professionalism in that also. It should be you can adjust till the time you can. Okay, it is right, it prep appropriate, because suddenly if I'm adjusting for Arena, but I'm not adjusting for Jwala, the same thing, the image will go wrong, the actions will go wrong, and that is not right. That is not professional at all, right? Now, scope of practice, teacher shall not abandon or neglect the student. That is scope of practice means basically here, one should never ignore their, never have a selfish nature in front of their students or clients. It should be equally. You have to treat your students and clients very equally. Though one is experienced or one is beginner or naive, you have to treat them very equally. You should not ignore. Suppose if you today, I'm not in mood of teaching today. It doesn't mean I don't have to entertain you guys. If I am not in mood, teacher, better not to teach. But if you are there for your students, if you have given the commitment that yes, today we are going to cover this topic, today I'll teach you this asanas, I should do that at any cost. Because if that point of time I'm not in that mood, or maybe I'm not interested in teaching you, ultimately the students, I lose the interest from my students, and students will also lose the interest in me. Okay, so that will go, the actions will go very wrong at that point of time. Jwala, just read this paragraph, scope of practice, quickly.
Teachers shall not abandon or neglect their students if teachers are unable or unwilling for appropriate reasons to provide professional help or continue a professional relationship. They should make every reasonable effort to arrange for instructions for that student with another teacher. Teachers should avoid giving any personal advice concerning a student's personal life. Teachers shall not give medical advice. Teachers shall not prescribe a treatment or suggest rejecting or a physician advice. Teachers shall refer their students to medical doctors or complete complementary license to professional when appropriate.
True. Shall everywhere was, see, have you noticed everywhere in the statements and sentence, shall was there implemented? Why? It is compulsion that you need to, you are teacher, you're not a doctor. First of all, every teacher should keep in their mind that you are a teacher, you're not a doctor. You can't treat anyone. You can't give a treatment to your students and to your clients. The knowledge which you have into your mind, that knowledge only you need to deliver them. You are not a medical background student, teacher, sorry. So there, if you're not a medical background, though you have some kind of knowledge you have, but that to avoid to give that kind of knowledge, because see, you don't know the function of your students or client's body, right? You are not a doctor, you can't recognize fully, you can't recognize what kind of problem they're dealing with. So better avoid such kind of actions. Also, if you are giving any kind of suggestion, that should be professional. That I have explained you yesterday as well. That should be a professional, it should not be personal. You don't have to interrupt personally towards into your students or clients life, right? Either they don't have to do it the same. Okay, if they are doing it, it's a better, you should show the better and very calm gesture towards yourself, that towards them as well, that let's cover our topic, it is going like little personal, we'll discuss after some time, or maybe it's not right to discuss over, it's not a right platform to discuss. Okay, so if you're a yoga teacher, the major thing you need to keep, see, mostly people, if they are experienced teacher or something, they think that they have so much knowledge that they can share anything to students and it will go in the right way. No, if though you are a 20 years 30 years experienced teacher, but then also you don't have to tell them such things which you haven't experienced in your past. Okay, if by listening to someone's experience, if I want to implement it in my life, or I'm suggesting someone to implement in their life, that is not right, because everyone has their different experience, everyone has their different body, everyone has the different functions to their body. So as a yoga instructor, my responsibility is to teach yoga, teach the theory of yoga, that's it. Nothing prescription, nothing. If anyone has an arthritis disease, my responsibility to teach the poses of to cure them from arthritis, to cure them from the pain. Okay, if someone has a obesity problem, there my responsibility to teach them cardio yoga, or maybe a cardio exercises more. If I'm going out of the box, then it's nothing like I have to tell them the medicines. I have to, if someone is arthritis patient, I have to tell the medicines, no, you need to take this yoga, this is not my responsibility. Better tell them to go to their doctors, and this thing they have to discuss it with their doctor. Okay, so this the basic difference you need to keep in your mind. What is your responsibility, and till when, until what limit you need to talk with your students or to suggest someone. Responsibility to equity in yoga. Basically, here teachers will welcome, accept, and support all students regardless of religion, gender, and sexual orientation, language, nationality, political, and central background. It is the same thing. Equity, that means you should never say in your studio, you should never set up bar or paragraph here that there only this caste is allowed or this gender is allowed or married women are allowed, unmarried male is not allowed, female is allowed, or female is not allowed, male is allowed. Such kind of things, never do it as a business entrepreneur or maybe as a teacher. You should never do that. Even though if you're working anywhere, if you're working in any studio or something, then also you should treat each and every nationality equally, every gender equality. Because if you'll think also to do that, and it will not work. Because in today's era, people are like just believing in equality. Either it is, if we talk about nationality or any caste, any religion, or any gender. So that too, and it also shows your personality as well, your background as well. You can't make your goodwill into that. If you're thinking like that, that I'll run my business, I shall run my business accordingly, I'll set the graph over there that only males will be there, only female are allowed. No, you should not do that. Being, though you are male teacher or female teacher, you have to respect each and every religion, nationality, and gender. Okay. Now, here after this chapter is over. Now let's open the next chapter. That chapter is ethical commitment. You can just see that from your index also. That is, I'll tell you, ethical commitment is in professional development. Second topic, after yoga teacher credentials. Yesterday we have found it there. See, both the topics, as I just told you, both the topics are similar. Each and everything is similar. Ethical commitment includes your ethical commitment. Being a yoga teacher, what are your ethical commitments and what are the commitments you need to follow? How you have to follow it? How you have to set your standards? If you are doing something, if you are teaching somewhere, or you are just opening your own studio. See, if you're that, both things are difficult and different as well. If you're setting up your own studio or something, there also you need to keep it things in your mind that if you are somewhere, if you are a head, you're a guru, all the responsibility of your staff, your students, your client, even the space you are like owing there, that too, that is your responsibility to handle. Okay. But if you are working somewhere, then also, then and there also, see, that too, every headache is not yours, but still managing your students and client, that is your responsibility. And the same way, if teacher is managing that, student responsibility is the same. They have to handle such thing equally. Okay. Now, if we talk about here in this chapter, ethical commitment, just read first paragraph, Irina, where it has started, the chapter is started.
As yoga teachers, we recognize that it's our responsibility to create a safe and supportive learning environment for our students and to honor their welfare on all levels, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. We are aware of the sensitive nature of the teacher-student relationship and the imbalance of power. In order to protect the student this potentially vulnerable relationship, as well as to uphold the highest professional standards for teaching yoga, Advait Yoga School publishes these ethical commitments as part of its effort to help preserve the traditional legacy of yoga and improve the quality of yoga teaching and practice in the modern world.
Yeah. So basically here it is given, Advait Yoga Ji just trying to tell you in that chapter, it was Yoga Alliance. What are the, according to Yoga Alliance, what are the ethical commitments the yoga teacher should follow and do? Here, the same topic is there. According to Advait Yoga, that if there is something different, there are 2 to 3 points more extra you need to keep, you need to take care. That too will cover in this chapter here. So basically, the first was financial practices, only the same thing, that you should keep it in on your mind. You should have a clear intention to deliver such things. Like if you're talking about your any financial aspects, like your fee structure, or maybe the investment you are going to invest into your business, you are doing it in the partnership, right? So for example, me and Rina, or me and Jwala, we are just planning to open studio together. So in between us also, we both have a background of yoga. We both have been yoga teacher in our past. Then and there only, we need to keep these things in our mind, that the intentions should be clear. First point, because in business there are so many kind of disciplines, different kind of disciplines are there. So if our intention and our point should be clear at then and there only, that these are your points, these are my point, and we should have both should be agreed on that. Okay. Also, if we talk about the financial part, there also what kind of investment and how much investment we are going to make it, that should be clear in between us. Okay. And then if we are running our business, students and clients are coming, that we should decide with each other what are the fee structure we need to tell to our students and client, and both have to tell equally. It's nothing like I'm telling something different and Arina is saying or Jwala is saying something different. It will not work. We should not do that. We should always make one fee structure, and everything should be clear. And it should be like, if we see, transparency is very important, right? You should tell each and everything, because when you took admission in Advait Yoga, that here the rules and regulation, the policies, everything was, sir must have told you in earlier only, right? First day only he would have informed you everything, every procedure which we follow. And according to that, he is doing, like, for example, when we say these topics we are going to cover, these are the things we need to practice. You will have to practice yesterday, and or maybe tomorrow again you need to do it. The same thing, we try to do it, the same thing which we have committed to you. So these are the things you can learn. And the same thing, see, for example, if you are head somewhere, there you have to be, see, the same thing I've just told you earlier also. Bias nature is something you should have, no one should have it. And if you're a business, if you're running a business, you should always avoid that, because if you are only biased with your staffs or something, ultimately your staff will be biased with your students or with your clients, or maybe the business you are going to increase in future, that will not grow as, and it includes a professional growth as well. So your each and every nature which you have into you, like you are implementing into yourself, or you are just trying to adopt from anywhere, always think before adopting it. If it is not right, don't do it. Don't see others behavior and then adopt it. Okay, he's doing same thing in this business, I should also do it. No, the experience of her or his is different and yours is different, right? If it is it if your mind is allowing it, if you are comfortable with it, if you're thinking, okay, fine, if I'm implementing this idea into my business, and if it is going to work, then only do it. If it is not going to work, don't just see others ideas and don't implement in yours. It will not work. It is not necessary that it will work. Okay. So have your own standards, have your own commitments, have your own like planning into your mind, and then implement. It's better, because you will use your experience. Don't use other experience into your life. Okay, that will not work. Now, professional growth, continuing education, the same thing I just informed you. Teachers shall maintain, improve the professional knowledge, and companies strive of professional excellence through regular assessment of their personal and professional strength and weakness. Continuing education and training, teachers shall stay current with the new development in yoga. See, always remember that financial growth, that I informed you, that how you can make your professional growth by making a goodwill. First of all would be making your goodwill. If your goodwill is right, if you have a good goodwill, people will come to your studio. Because see, what we do when we take admission anywhere, or maybe when you took admission here, you have seen the rating of Advait, you have seen the reviews of Advait, then you had a word with the owner. Then you feel, okay, fine, for example, if my studio is there, right, you saw good reviews, good ratings, and then you came there, then you visit to my studio. The way I'm talking is not right, right? You are thinking like the way I'm telling my business, and the way I'm just representing my business, it's not right. It's like the language is not professional, right? The ideas which I'm telling you, it's not right. The policies which I'm telling you, it's kind of very disturbing. Why you will come? So it's nothing like if we reviews and rating is going to work. The point is, end of the day, you have to deal with your students and clients, and how you are dealing it, in which manner you are dealing, that is very important. That is the same thing. If you are the only single person who can grow your business, you can be a single person, you can make a profit into your business, because each and every action of yours or yoga teacher, it's very important to have a growth or to take a growth into their business. And we talk about continuing education, teachers should always ready to like learn anything from anywhere. For example, if I'm a teacher, I always try to see new things, to learn new things, and then I deliver it to my students, right? I some topics, if it is not necessary that the topics which is given in this module or in this book, I should only teach that only. Being a good teacher, out of the box is something there, and it is very important to tell. I should always tell to my students, or should always teach to my student. So every teacher should always ready to learn new things, and should ready to deliver such thing to the students and clients. Never hesitate or never get back off of such thing. If you have seen some topics which is very necessary, but that too it is not in your book or into your course, don't hesitate. Don't think that no, it is not necessary, it is not given, I'll not tell. No, maybe that can help your student. Maybe they'll feel comfortable. Maybe that will be a different kind of knowledge they'll be implementing in their self. So being a good teacher, you should always keep learning and always tell your students to be in the learning mode. Okay. Now, teacher student relationship, again, the same topic is there that I have informed you what kind of relationship one teacher and student should have into their business. And if they are if they are into class, the relationship always should be healthy only and should be professional. It should not be a personal or something. Always keep in your mind, being a teacher, whatever relationship you are building with your students and client, the same relationship they are also going to build in the future when they are running your business or whatever they are doing it, right? Now, integrity, that means the truthfulness. Always teachers should have their clear intention. Should be an honesty in themselves. There should be a transparency in between and in their students always. Okay. Here they should see scope of practice. This is the topic, different topic. Teachers shall not abandon. That is the same thing again. Topic is different, that you should not always neglect or abandon your students. If someone is not, though, if see, different students have different behavior, different kinds, you will find different kind of challenges in your yoga journey. Maybe you'll find some clients, they are very kind of rude while they speak, they use rude languages, right? You'll find students, they'll not understand in one word, in one statement, two statement, or maybe you have to teach them 10 times, then they are going to get it. So these kind of challenges one should have always ready for. Always teacher should be ready for such kind of challenges. Because see, if the same thing I'm just telling you, for example, if I'm student and I'm not understanding Arena's point in one time, two times, three times, what she'll do? She is going to abandon me, or she is going to neglect me, or she is going to ignore me. If she is doing that, or if any one of you is doing that, that is not right. It will not give a good impact on your image. If you are a teacher, you should always be calm, and the ethical things which you have into yourself, into your business, which you have implemented, at that point of time you have to use that. You have to use your patience level. You have to use your smart work, in which way you can teach them now. If it is not working, if it is not working, normal thing, if it is not working the way everyone learned it, then what different you can use it. There you have to use your experience and your calm mind. Okay. Now, confidential information, teacher should always, the information which is required, that only information you need to share with your students. You have to share with your clients the information. You don't have to tell each and everything, how you have set up your business, what losses you are going through, what profit you are going through, what fees you are. Fees should be, if I'm here, I should always tell my each and every student personally that this is the fee structure, this is the policy. Though I am telling the same thing to the other student, but still I don't have to give this official announcement. We don't have to make any official announcement to that this is the fees, this is the policies. No, one to one you need to communicate them. That point of time, if you're communicating with them one to one, there's many different things, many different points. Everyone has their different requirements, right? That too you can't discuss officially. You can't do it at one place. There you need to sit with each and every student one to one. You have to talk with them. You have to do discussion, and then only you have to, whatever things are required, whatever needs things are needed to share, you need to share that only. Other than that, don't share any confidential information of your business or your studio, because that too you have to keep it professional. Whatever things are required, you need to share. Whatever things is needed, that you need to implement. Other than that, you just need to be at your space, at yourself. Now, interprofessional relationship. Teachers, here Jwala, can you just read this paragraph, please?
Professional relationships. Teachers are part of the healthcare and well-being community and should strive to develop and maintain relationships within the community for the benefit of their students and their professional development. Teachers shall conduct themselves in an honorable manner in their relations with their fellow yoga teachers and other wellness practitioners. Teachers shall work to build the unity of their community by embracing diversity, collaboration, and commitment the benefit of all. Teachers shall practice tolerance and acceptance toward other yoga teachers, schools, and traditions. Teachers shall not openly criticize practices followed by other yoga schools or teachers. However, teachers recognize the differences of opinion are to be expected and they may be discussed in a sensitive and compassionate manner. When criticism must be made, it should be done with the fairness, discretion, and with a focus of the facts.
Yeah. What does it mean? Any idea?
Yes, like they really wanted to tell us that teachers should, maintain a balance between everything. They should not diversify with each and every student or with the people, and they should not follow others yoga fellow teachers what others are doing, and the say is the same thing. We should do that. So we should avoid
Yeah.
those things
And
as
I
well.
just inform you in different topics as well. We should never use other experiences, other ideas into our business. It's not necessary that it is going to work. Okay. If Arena has different kind of ideas in her studio, and she's implementing that, she's running very successfully. And if I'm just trying to copy that, I have not something out of box for my studio, or I'm not thinking something good for my studio. I can't think because I'm not trying it. That point of time, if I'm just trying to copy Arena's ideas into my business, it's not necessary it is going to work, because the point is the skills which she have, interpersonal skills which she are using, the mind which she's running a mind. I'm not running that point of time. So maybe I can copy one idea, two ideas, three ideas, but it's not necessary I can copy each and every idea, because the way she is bringing the clients, the students, the way they are coming to her studio, it's not necessary they'll kind, because at that point of time the skill works, the experience works, the commitments, the intentions work. What kind of intentions you are having towards your business, what kind of intention I'm having towards my business. Okay, if my motto is to earn only money without doing any hard work, without thinking something different for my studio or something, it doesn't mean that it will work, right? Because the intentions and everything should be clear. Each and everything should be there into your mind if you are running business or you are trying to set up something different. That too, if it is something like, if I'm a teacher, I should never get criticize to any other teachers or any other schools. If I should never say that, okay, see there, if you are going XYZ, he was doing that, then he got failed over there. I should never do that. I should never tell to my students. I should, being a good yoga teacher with the good ethical commitments and ethical behavior, I should never criticize anyone, not even to my students, not to my clients, not, I should never do comparison between anyone, right? Because that is different, I'm different. I should only focus on my business, my ethical commitments, my policies, my functions, and everything. I need to just trust my, and I should deliver that. I should never do any kind of comparison. It is not, if I'm thinking that I'll say something bad about any other business, and that I can make people come, I'll just force them to come into my studio, or maybe I'll demotivate them, or I'll motivate someone to just come to my studio. It is not going to work. See, people are not fool, right? They know the way, the gesture you are using to represent your business, the gesture you are using to tell something to someone, or to motivate anyone. People know that what is the intention behind that. No, because people are not so dumb these days that they will not know that what are the intention of mine to teach you, what are the intentions I'm keeping in my mind while I'm motivating you. Maybe there will be my personal reasons, maybe I'm thinking of my personal profit, right? There are chances. So that too, students are, never think that students or any client is dumb there, they'll not understand what are your intentions. So always it's better to have a good behavior, but and have a good thought of you should always think very positive before delivering anything or before running anything. Because if you are not clear, your intentions are not clear, trust me, one, two times, three times, you will feel you can have a good experience, but after that it will come in front of you, and you'll feel such major losses. Because that point of time, if something is not going right, you have to stop then and there only. Okay, so avoid such behaviors, don't criticize anyone, just focus on your business and your things. Okay, now advertising and public communication, that is a different topic. It was not in there, that topic, that we need to, teachers shall not make false fraudulent statements advertising content. That is the same thing. If someone is running studio, or some, for example, if anyone is running any studio, or if working as well, so never give any false things, never tell anyone that we will provide such thing if we can't, we have such policies if we don't have. So tell, if you want to do a marketing of your business, if you want to do marketing of your classes or anything, or you want to do the advertisement of there, then show these such things which is actually it is you are implementing into your business, right? Or maybe you can think out of the box, and if you once you are implemented, then only tell to anyone. Because if you haven't done it into your studio, like for example, I have committed them that every weekend we'll be having different kind of like I'll tell you the different kind of variations of meditations or pranayam or anything, but I haven't implemented it. No one came there to do that, but still I'm committing to someone. is is there any kind of experience I'm having to do that? Is it necessary that the day people will come there to experience it, I will do it successfully? It is not required. So better the things which you are committing, the advertisement which you are doing or marketing you are doing for your business, just have experience of it first. If it is successfully you have done it, then only advertise it, then only you can make your people interested to do that or come there. There are different points which we need to keep to our mind, that is their training experience or competence, the training which you are giving, the experience which you are having. These are the things you need to use. That same thing I have told you, if you don't have experience, don't go for it. Now their academic degrees and credentials also do not show false certificate. If I'm not a certified teacher, it's not right that I'll make some different like some wrong certification, I'll take it from somewhere else and paste it to my studio. This is wrong. Okay, never do that. Always, if you have a certification, so that certification. If you don't have, don't go for false degrees or false credentials that I'm certified from Yoga Alliance, I have a different kind of degrees which I'm holding right now. So don't show that. Their institutional affiliations, their class workshops and teacher training, their scientific clinic basis of successful their services, their fees. So statement involving centralization, superficiality, and internal exploit students' fears, emotion. So these are the basic points where if you are showing that there is a discount when you will be coming here for 6 months, or if you are taking a course for 6 months or 6 month classes, if you are just paying the fees for that, I'll give you 50% discount. People came there into your studio, but that point of time you are just backing out. You said no, it was just for my advertisement. That is not wrong. It's there. Who is going to take admission? No will take. Although also you will make your false image there, then and there only. So these kind of related to your fees. If don't play with anyone's emotion. For example, these time in Corona time, every single person, second person is just facing the depression and anxiety problem, right? They need meditation, they need such kind of things which will make them help them to heal. There, if you are just posting something, if you're advertising from your studio that we are giving free meditation classes, for example, but if someone is there, people will come because they need it. Everyone can't afford that, right? No one. So people, those who can't afford, they'll come, they need help, obviously they'll come, they'll trust your studio and they'll come. That point of time, if you're not performing such activities, you're not doing that, you're just backing it out from your words, that is not right, right? So these kind of advertisement or marketing, never do such false advertisement and marketing from your studio or from yourself, because this is not going to work at all. Being a yoga teacher, you should have whatever marketing and advertisement you are doing from yourselves, that should be highly professional. First of all, it should not be like you are doing it just like the way you want to. It's like, okay, cool, do it like this way. No, being, because these are the things, no, people, this bring discipline in you and your students as well. If you're not a disciplined teacher, if you are not an ethical teacher, that point of time, it's not something gym or sports or dance class you're running, right? There you can show some dance figures or something different, then people will come. Then, but if as a yoga teacher, you have to be professional. You have to be very much professional that point of time when you are showing some gesture or you are representing your studio. You can't do it any way, or any idea which is not right, you can't implement that without having a second thought. Okay, so always have a second thought while doing taking any step as a yoga teacher, because it will impact all of your business results or whatever you steps decisions you have taken to run your business. Okay, now yoga equity, teacher will welcome, accept, support it. That is the same thing. Teacher should always support, always welcome each and every religion, caste, or any person who is black, white. Never do differentiation between black and white, that these girls will come, boys will not come. Religion, Muslims will come, Hindu will not come, Christian will come, Hindu will not come. These kind of, these parameters, it is not right to set with any yoga teacher. If thinking she or he is thinking to set such parameters, avoid that, don't do that. Because as a, if you have a welcoming nature, if you have a supportive nature towards your clients and students, there are higher chances that they'll bring more students and more clients towards into your studio, because there is no restriction of any religion, any caste or anything. Also, you are giving good gestures, you are very much commitment towards your words, whatever words or commitment you are giving, that you are fulfilling it also. There is a good environment you are giving to your students, healthy environment you are giving to your students. Whatever motivation you have given them, you are just giving your best to fulfill that motivation as well. So these are the major points in ethical commitment. It covers there only, it is under that. These are the major points one teacher should have always into their mind, and always go with these kind of ideas, because that is 100% sure. See, everyone likes good human being, right? Good nature, supportive nature, everyone likes that. If I'm here, I'm teaching you, if I'm using rude languages, right? If I'm not making you comfortable, being a teacher is my responsibility to make you comfortable in the class. Being a teacher is my responsibility to tell you how you need to talk, how you need to show gesture, where you need to smile, where you don't have to smile. These are the things I need to teach. If I'm just making a serious face and I'm just delivering my chapters to you, it will not work, right? You will lose interest. You will, second day, third day, you will tell to sir, we are not comfortable with teacher. So why to make such image? Being a teacher, you should always have a supportive and good nature, because if you are a good human being, always anytime you can have you will have a good like ethics, you will have a good behavior towards your students, towards client, or to anyone. It's not about only your students or client. To any human being, you should have always a supportive, and always smile while talking to anyone. Because if you'll smile, if anything is there, any kind of problem is there, or anything you are discussing, if you have a smile on your face, people will take it positive only. Okay, so these are basically the basic behavior one should have, and they have just implemented into the yoga teacher chapter only, because there are more major points we need to take care into our, if we are running any kind of business, or if we are becoming a yoga teacher or any teacher. There are some more points we need to take care into our mind before like going into that path. Because in our basic life, in our daily life, there are things we can do wrong, right? And there's no one to watch that or correct that. That is okay. But if, being a teacher, if one mistake we are doing it, that is not right for studio or our business, it will give a bad impact also, right? So these were the points today. The both chapter was similar only. After reading it, you know that only 1 or 2 points were there. I think advertising and public communication, that was different. Other than that, every topic was similar of this chapter. But again, we have 2 times we have done it. So I think hopefully every point was clear, right? Is there any doubt or anything you need to discuss? If you're thinking I'll become a teacher, what things I should do, I should not do, if any question is there, you can ask. Because of course, if you'll ask the teacher will tell their experience, right? I'll not tell anyone other experience, because whatever experience I was having in my teacher journey or this yoga journey when I become a teacher, so I'll teach that only. Never do this thing, never do that thing, or do this or do that. I always teach my experience to my students, right? So, or maybe if I have done something wrong, I should not do it. That also I'll tell you that don't do it, because once I have done it, these were the consequences I have faced it, right? So if you are thinking of becoming teacher, always start thinking from today what different things you can introduce, what different things you can make like implement into yourself, so that your students and your clients will show interest. Because there are n number of teachers, yoga teachers in there, right? And everyone is running business, some of them are working under someone. So ultimately they are teaching, right? So why people are coming to them, why someone is coming to them, why they are selecting those teachers? Is there something different in them? What kind of things they are like looking into that? So these are the some questions you should also think if you are thinking to become a teacher, so that there will be something different. See, everyone wants something different, they want different nature, they need something. Because if I'm similar and other teachers are similar, how will you differentiate in them? We are just always, we are trying, what is that, we are trying to learn new things. I always try to learn new things from my teacher or from my seniors. I always do that. So that is the reason I always learn new things, I implement that. And then I, the experience which I face, the things which I face, the journey which I had, that I can explain it as well, right? I then only I can explain it to you. But if I'll not implement it myself, if I'll not experience it, how come I'll explain to you guys, right? So always try to think beyond out of box, what good things you can adapt into yourself, what good things you can implement into yourself if you are becoming a yoga teacher. Okay, these are the things it was given professionally in book, but in personally also. Personally, if we are human beings, it's not very difficult to think how to become a good human being. If you are becoming a good human being, ultimately you will be a good yoga teacher as well. Yeah, there are some major extra points which you need to take care of if we talk about professionalism, but that it is given book, you don't have to learn that. It's normal natural things, right? Everyone have that. So if you have any doubt, any query in this chat now. Okay, now, so tomorrow again, I'll tell you, tomorrow we'll be covering yoga professional guidelines, next chapter after that. Okay, there also it is given what are the skilled yoga teacher, how you can be a skilled yoga teacher, how you can use skill, where you can use your skills, right? It's not necessary everywhere you need to use your skills. It's just that your experience is also enough to use that. But sometimes you need to use your skills which you have learned. Now, what is not so, how, if someone is not skilled teacher, how you can see that, how you can recognize that, then what there is some, again, the ethics, what ethics you need to carry into yourself while running your business, or if you're teaching someone, how you can become a successful yoga teacher. So these are the points, how you can make a connections, what are the timelines you need to build into yourself, how you, what are the time you need to set up towards your business or something. So what different you can make to make your business successful, what different things you can introduce into your business. So such are the points which is going to be covered tomorrow, I'll tell you. That is also very easy to discuss. We'll discuss it that the way we have discussed. But what I want is that in tomorrow chapter we are doing it, and the second chapter today will cover the business of yoga also, because that both are related to each other. If we, the guidelines for in first chapter, the guidelines has been given that these are the things you need to keep in your mind, these are the things you need to implement if you're running, if you're setting up your business, if you're planning for that. And then again, if you have set up your business, so what are the things you need to take care of, what are the things that will be come into your path, what are the things you have, what are the challenges you are going to face, how you can invest, what amount you need to invest, what are the different kind of businesses where you can invest. So these are will be the topics, so we'll cover it both together, so that will be understandable to you as well. Okay, so that I was saying that it will, when we'll be covering, when tomorrow we'll cover these topics. No, you can do one thing, just if you'll get time, if you'll get time, just go like that only. It's not like you need to read each and every line. Just go to the topic and try to ask something different. Try to ask as a, just think that you are a yoga teacher and something you don't have a solution of any one question or any question. At least think one question, different question, so that you can ask to me, right? That if you have become a yoga teacher, can we do this, can we do that, or if I'm doing this, is it right? If it goes wrong, how I'll cover that, how I'll manage there. So these, try to think such questions. If you'll think, the brain will work, you will run your mind, and maybe you, the different question, you can think different question which I don't have, or I'll learn also with your question. So try to think, bring one question with yourself. If you are, because see, overall, if we talk about, you are doing this course to become a teacher, right? Whatever chapters we have covered so far, it was for biological topic at autonomy, meditation, pranayama, or yoga history. That too you have just learned, or maybe you have, I have taught you, you have it in your mind, in your notes, in your books. But why you have studied that topic, why you have attended that class, why you are attending practical class? Because you want to teach the same thing someday, right? So just, these chapters are very important for you, very important. Though it is very easy, but when you'll come to trust, when you'll try to implement it into your real life, no, when you'll become teacher, there will be n number of experiences you will be facing, n number of challenges you will be facing, and there will be n number of questions that point of time where you need help of your seniors or your teachers, right? So better start thinking from today, because I think you will be covering your this certification soon. So better start thinking that you don't know when and where you'll get a clients, you'll get a students, right? So just think something beyond this chapters and or something, and then ask, like, let's discuss tomorrow something if you have, and then we'll finish this both chapter together. Okay, and then I'll tell you what's next we are going to do. Now you have a class at 1 o'clock, right? So just take rest, see you tomorrow again. Okay, have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you so
See
much.
you
Same here.
tomorrow.
Bye.